inexpensive and fun way to learn to ski in the mountains.
Eyewitness News photojournalist Brad Rice takes us to Davis and Tucker County to the Whitegrass Touring Center in this week's Traveling West Virginia.
A lot of people in Appalachia don't look forward to snow in winter, and a lot of weathermen said, we got some bad weather. Well, we're sitting here at Whitegrass going, you mean good weather? We're always making fun of people in Florida. Eat your heart out, Florida. And here, Canadian Valley, the wind's blowing and the snow's drifting, and we're going, I'll bet it's nice 70 degrees in your sandals. You know, it's like they feel sorry for us and we feel sorry for them. Well, I was a skier as a kid, and I was living in the mountains of Virginia. And then in the year of 1980 and 81, we ran out of snow in Virginia. We came over here to Canadian Valley and we met some local people and heard about their legendary snow. And we came here in March and went, wow, there's still snow over here. And we decided that we would move our operation here. So here at Whitegrass, we have prayer flags. We have gourmet food cooking all the time. It smells like food, it smells like soup inside. We always have wonderful, usually Appalachian-based music playing. Gliding on the planet is fun. It feels good. Sliding along on the earth is a wonderful feeling that people, when they learn to do it, it is a blast. Cross-country skiers are a group of people that'll probably do it for their whole life. So once they come here, you'll probably see them, unless they move away, they'll probably come every winter. They'll bring friends and they bring their kids. You can do it more with your family. It's more slow. You can stick together easier. You can obviously go more places. There's only a few slopes in West Virginia, and there's a heck of a lot of mountains in West Virginia. To me, it's the most fun I've ever had in my life, is cross-country skiing. It's just the best. And it's just, I never get over it. I don't think I'm ever gonna get tired of cross country, and it's the best. We kind of put our philosophy of life that we have and the opportunity we have to live in Canadian Valley and make a living is just a dream come true. This is how you walk to your car at Whitegrass, and you know, you go hug, kiss, everybody's crying, nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to leave this little bubble of love. I just get turned on by people. People excite me. They make me feel warm. There's this like little energy that goes off in my inside of my body. It's like I see somebody, I recognize them, I just want to hug them and squeeze them and love them. And I mean, it's just a gift that you have. And if you're in this business, you can get away with it. If I was in the crime business, it may not be. If I was in the prison business, it may not be the same as this, but I'm in the cross-country ski business, which is nothing but fun.
Chip Chase, what a character, and I like his name. You can always see this and all of Brad's traveling stories online, and remember to follow him on Twitter at TravelingWV, WCHS. That's going to do it for us here on Eyewitness News at 5.
Eyewitness News at 6 is straight ahead.
And creating every single piece in that store by hand.
Eyewitness News photojournalist Brad Rice took the short drive to Hurricane to check out Bearwood Company and this week's Traveling West Virginia.
Traveling West Virginia, sponsored by Elk Springs Resort.
I think it really was all about just love of home. I mean, I grew up in West Virginia, so it's, you know, it's close to me. And, you know, my wife and I would, you know, we traveled a lot around West Virginia and enjoy everything that the state has to offer. And we felt a real sense of pride, like a lot of people do, in where we're from. And I think a lot of this came from that. I think what really sort of got me started is using reclaimed wood. You know, our goal is to salvage this stuff before it goes to the landfill or, God forbid, it's burned, and that happens a lot. So, I mean, we'd much prefer somebody give us a call before they throw it away. Somebody will come in here and they'll buy something from us, and then me, Scott, or Haley will, you know, we'll take the time to go over it with them and show them where all the, you know, the pieces of that individual piece came from. That, I think, is what resonates with people, is the story. This is a piece of barnwood from Kanawha County This is another piece of that wood that we recovered from the structure that was built in the late 1800s. Barns and old buildings and, you know, even new construction will reuse. I mean, really, it's about, you know, sustainability, and if it can be reused, we want to reuse it. I think the West Virginias that we're making, they're rough. They're a little rough around the edges. They're rustic. They're rough around the edges, but there's also an elegance to them that you know, that's very unique and
kind of like West Virginians.
Yeah, a little rough around the edges, but, you know, elegant. So the tabletop is made from locally reclaimed barn wood. It's more than 75 years old. You know, a lot of furniture companies would have discarded a lot of this wood a long time ago just because of some of the features, but we leave a lot of the evidence of age, you know, behind. We want to see some of that stuff and try to bring it out, like these saw marks here. The apron and the legs, they're made from wood that we recovered from a structure that was built in the late 1800s here in Putnam County. Over the years, it was a general store, a hardware store, a nursing home, and a post office. It's old, it's weathered beaten and rough, and you know, we'll find some good use for it here.
It's got character.
Yeah, that's years of character. I mean, there's no, you know, there's no faking that. Watch the nails. There's a ton of them. I think there is a uniqueness to what we're doing here, and I don't know, I'm having a ball with it. It's neat. You know, I think that's real, and I think people are trying to get back to something real these days. That to me is home for sure.
It's pretty awesome stuff. You can always see.
Eyewitness News photojournalist Brad Rice heads to Tucker County to check out Otter Creek, one of the first established in the state in this week's Traveling West Virginia.
Traveling West Virginia, sponsored by Elk Springs Resort.
Wilderness is a special place that's it's different than general forest land. It is congressionally designated. These wilderness areas that we have, and we have 8 on Monongahela National Forest, 5 on the north zone, 3 on the south zone. Otter Creek Wilderness is a part of the National Wilderness Preservation System. For the public to use and enjoy, it's a place for solitude. It's a place where we let nature run its course, or let nature be its own thing. We've got recreation in wilderness areas, but it is, we really like to have it as unconfined recreation, where the visitor can come out and walk a trail for a day or go on a week-long backpacking trip. Everybody knows of Dolly Sods. It is one of the premier wilderness areas in the east due to the ecology and the landscape up there. But here in Otter Creek, it's actually a little bit bigger in size. Otter Creek is a little over 20,000 acres, whereas Dolly Sods is 17,000 acres. And another wilderness component with wilderness character is a place for the public to find solitude. And here in Otter Creek, you're going to find that solitude. If you go out for a week, you might just encounter a few backpackers or hikers, but it is a completely different experience than in Dolly Sods, where you might run into 100 people on a pretty Saturday. We began just back here at the Dry Fork Trailhead, and you actually cross the Dry Fork River on a big suspension bridge. That bridge was flooded out in 1985 and was rebuilt. The current bridge was rebuilt by the National Guard. To me, it's just a sense of wildness. It's to really get that backcountry experience, to really feel like you're getting away from the day-to-day activities that we all do, and really it's you and the forest and the streams and the wildlife. It can't get much better than that.
Traveling West Virginia, sponsored by Elk Springs Resort.
Grandview is part of New River Gorge National River. It's managed by the National Park Service, but it hasn't always been that way. It was originally a state park, and back in 1990, it became part of the National Park Service and New River Gorge National River. Grandview is popular, I think, for a number of reasons. Certainly the grand view that folks get of the bend in the river is one that many people come for. You can see it pretty easily accessible from the main parking lot. What we're looking at right now, what's blooming here in the middle of May and into early June, are the catawba rhododendrons. Many of the ones that we're seeing blooming right now were planted back in the 1970s when this was still a state park. They tend to be the pink ones, a little bit darker pink. In a few weeks, we'll start seeing the great rhododendrons. That's the one that's the West Virginia state flower. The flowers are usually a little bit whiter in color. The name rhododendron, I actually recently learned, it comes from an ancient Greek word meaning rose. So many people also refer to rhododendrons as rose bays. Many people come to Grandview specifically to see these rhododendrons at this time of year, and then some of the great rhododendrons a little bit later, even into July. I think it's certainly the time of year when we see more and more people coming out. Schools are about to get out of, kids are about to get out of school. Like you mentioned, the weather's warming up, flowers are blooming. I think for many people this time of year represents sort of the beginning of summer, the kickoff of summer. In a national park, everything is protected. So the flowers, the rocks, the leaves, and it's actually illegal to take anything out of a national park. So I just like to remind everybody when they come up to enjoy the flowers, whether they're here at Grandview or in other parts of the park, to leave everything in its place. So resist that urge to pick a flower and take it home with you. Instead, make your memories while you're here in the park and leave them behind for others to enjoy.
Take pictures, not flowers.
Exactly. Take pictures, not flowers.
Well, most folks around West Virginia have never heard of, let alone seen, a saw-whet owl.
Eyewitness News photojournalist Brad Rice went to Taylor County to learn about these small, secretive birds of prey in this week's Traveling West Virginia. But first, we have to warn you, the cuteness factor is off the charts.
The northern saw-whet owl is our smallest eastern owl, and they're one of the owls that migrate in the fall. And this is the prime time in October, November, they migrate through West Virginia. There's over 100 stations that do the same thing in the fall all over the U.S., and most of them are primarily located here in the east along the Alleghenies. We set the nets up and play the lure, and hopefully, it draws the birds in to the nets to catch them. The nets are like 40 feet long and 7 feet high. Voila! This is part of the saw-whet experience, is the cold. We have a certain protocol that we follow and try to catch the birds and band them and do measurements and things, trying to learn more about them, and then let them go. So I started a few years ago doing public demonstrations, letting the public come a few nights when I'm out here to let them experience the saw-whet owl like I do. Let me hold it up here and y'all can see.
What's not to love?
People love it, and probably 99% of the people around never even see a saw-whet owl or even heard of a saw-whet owl. So to get that experience, I think is really great for people, especially kids really like it.
Where's the name come from?
Good question. They're thinking the old timers used to use the old, the whetstones to sharpen their knives and axes and stuff, and that kind of, as that stone goes around it, makes that sound each time around. And that's kind of the way their call is. This is a full-grown bird. They won't grow anymore. They're mostly feathers because they need the insulation because they're in colt most of the time. So they're very, very tiny and docile and neat to handle. And like I said, people just fall in love with them when they see them.
Oh, he's so soft.
Yeah, isn't he? The two things for banding, the two main things we look at is where they go, where they're traveling to. See how it fluoresces? Everybody see that? So this is a hatch here, and this is a male. It weighs 80 grams. The other thing is mortality. How long do they live? The numbers, there's a lot more than we figured. And by doing this has helped us understand that. So it's not only their eyes, but it's their hearing that's really acute also. It's really fun to see, not only kids, big kids, eyeballs get real big over an owl, because a lot of people don't see a live owl. And to see one live, and especially a saw-whet owl, is really a neat experience. Look at him going around. There he goes.
Absolutely adorable. You can always see that adorable bird again. All of Brad's traveling stories are over on our website, WCHS-TV.com, and follow us on Twitter at TravelingWV WCHS.